Greetings, everybody. Real quick, one announcement, big announcement I want to make. On Friday, I'm making a live stream centered around Berserk because I read the Anime News Network article, link in the description below, about Berserk coming back, and I really want to talk about Berserk, the series, and what I think about it, because I've been meaning to talk about it, but I haven't had the time to sit down and talk about it because it is one of my favorite manga of all time. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about. Now, let's get right into this chapter. Chapter 3 of Dr. Stone. We have Senku and Taiju going in, trying to figure out, well, they were, at the beginning of the chapter, they were planning on bringing the girl, I forgot her name, I think Sakurane, or whatever her name is. They're planning on getting her out of the stone prison, and I was kind of hoping that they would, because it would have created an interesting romance dynamic, because I don't know if Senku and Taiju would have been an interesting love triangle, but it's not going to happen because they're planning on doing it, and they got attacked by a bunch of lions, and now they had to try to find a way to defeat it, and they got introduced to this new guy, who's known as the primate of their high school. Human beings are primates, so they had to think of a better name then, because that's not really much of a title, because human beings are primates, like apes and monkeys. So I was just like, wouldn't Senku, correct him? Like, Senku, aren't you, a practical scientific genius? You should have corrected him right there, but whatever. I'm not really angry about that. But it was very interesting seeing this guy, because he seems like he has some martial arts prowess. And the thing that was interesting is that we're exposed to the flaws of both Senku and Taiju. Like, Senku relies on Taiju, and neither of them can fight, which is interesting. They are the first shonen main characters, shonen protagonists, that I have seen in manga, I think outside of Light Yagami and the guy from Bakuman, but those are outliers, that can't fight. They cannot fight. So they needed to rely on this third guy, who basically is their strength as far as fighting goes. And he has some martial arts prowess. And this dude just straight up just punched a lion in the face. And I was like, the artwork for that, dang, every chapter, the artwork has been absolutely stunning. This might go down to be the best artwork in all of Shonen Jump, next to One Punch Man. I still love One Punch Man's art, but this has a deeper level of realism to it. It looks just on that next level than One Punch Man. One Punch Man has this sort of realism yet sci-fi like tone, but this has a real, it just feels real. It was really dope. It was cool seeing them introduce this guy, and I have to bounce off of what Chibi Reviews said, how the possibility of this being a psychological thriller series later on down the road, because them being in stone for such a long time would drive them crazy. Just to let you guys know, Chibi mentioned that. I'm not going to take credit for that, because that would be stealing, but I can definitely see that more so in this chapter, because the guy who was introduced, the primate of their high school, who has the martial arts prowess, he seems as though he's a little off. He looks like he's been through some crap, and his mind is kind of warped from all of this. So I don't know where this is going to go. One thing that I noticed is that the chapters are pretty quick. Not really that much happens in the chapters. It's epic when you're reading it, but when you come back to actually talk about it, not really that much happens. The only thing that we can do right at this point is make predictions on what could possibly happen. And yeah, this was a very interesting chapter. I absolutely loved it. Just like I love the first chapter, each chapter has its own unique thing that it brings to the overall plot. And I loved how they confirmed the idea that if someone is dead in stone and their consciousness is gone, they stay dead. They're not coming back. They're dead. So they confirmed that, and I'm happy they did that. Besides that, Nothing else really happened. We had the introduction of martial arts dude who's just a freaking boss. Then you have the whole them getting ready to save the girl, but then getting interrupted by a group of lions. And I thought it was an interesting detail that they gave, that because there were zoos in Japan, the lions were like, because of that, the lions were living, they were able to escape, and for thousands of years these lions were living in Japan just free of human interaction. So because lions don't really have that much of a culture like that. I mean, they do have a culture. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they do have a very complex culture, but I think that they lost the understanding of who human beings are. So it enabled them to be able to hunt them. And I thought it was an interesting dynamic that the humans aren't on top of the food chain anymore. So that adds a whole extra level of stress and threat to the whole situation, because now they have to worry about all these extra predators that are going to be around. So yeah, overall, great plus chapter. I really love this chapter. I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10, like I gave the One Piece chapter. It was great. But yeah, that's all for today. I don't have any more videos planned for today. Well, maybe. Who knows? I might. Just stay tuned.